Right, we are now going to change gears, and I'm glad, actually, because I need this. That's going to be my free therapy for the day. I think she's pretty well equipped to give me free therapy, but we'll see. But today is World Mental Health Day, and my joking aside, it's important to talk about it, and every time we have the chance, we do, and I always love to bring on this next guest, and of course, that's our friend, Dr. Janine Hubbard. Janine, how are you today? If I were to take a poll 9 times out of 10, you'd be in a pretty good mood, eh?
I was going to say tired and looking forward to some self-care this weekend. It's been a week, but a lovely way to finish off my Friday, I will say.
Well, there you go. I appreciate that, and mine too. I mean, I think it's funny, right? As we head into Thanksgiving, talking to a lot of people, and a lot of the people I talk to are in the business, in business, and doing a lot of business. A lot of people focused on politics now, and they're tired. They're actually looking forward to the Thanksgiving weekend as a time of self-care. But are you seeing that more? That, as holiday periods approach, people are, Christmas is a bit different because we're all in a frenetic rush to look after family and the like. But as we come into these holiday periods, do you see more that people are really needing them?
Well, again, I think there's a few things to keep in mind. For some, a holiday is actually going to cause more stress, either just because they are an individual, whether there are family obligations, whether you're someone who feels like you need to be preparing a meal or entertaining people, and also remembering that while a lot of us are very happy to see family and friends and loved ones. Sometimes that's a major trigger for a lot of people. I also look at, the social demands, the food and alcohol-related focus that comes with a lot of holidays. So, it's also one of those weekends where looking at boundaries. And sometimes it is saying, you know what, actually what I need is really quiet. Just because, listen, we have had so much coming at us the last little while, and the number of people that I've spoken to where the wildfires occupied so much of August, which often was going to be that, time to take, and then the fall started and kids are back at school and everything's going at full force. I've spoken to a lot of people who just feel that they didn't get to recharge their batteries in August the way they might typically, because of a lot of the other things going on. And so, and I feel for anyone who's working on political campaigns, hat off to everyone, that listen, I always admire anyone willing to put themselves forward for public office because it's thankless and exhausting at the best of times. And we've had 2 elections going on here, and there are a lot of volunteers who are, and candidates who are just, they're tired. And I'm hoping that they're able to build in, some rest amongst the, the end stretch here.
Let's talk about, and thank you for saying that. I think that's true. Like, politics is a grind. It's and particularly in elections, people just go really hard because they're passionate. They care about what they're advocating for and the people they're supporting, and people are to be admired for that. We deride them too often. But let's talk about World Mental Health Day. We've talked about it before, but why is it important to have a day like today?
Well, and it's interesting, and a distinction I always like to highlight. So today is World Mental Health Day, but this week is actually Mental Illness Awareness Week. And we very often talk about mental health and mental illness as interchangeable, and there are some aspects of it that are there, but one is kind of looking at, again, it's like your physical health. We all have periods where we're healthier or not as healthy, and there's a lot of things that we can do ourselves within our own control to kind of, like taking a pause and having, being mindful of the fact that, I'm really feeling overrun. And then there is mental illness, which, is so much of a bigger struggle and often kind of gets swept under the rug with people talking about, I'm anxious, and thinking it's the same as someone who has, a generalized anxiety disorder, or I'm feeling sad, I'm depressed. And someone who has, again, clinical depression is sort of going, no, you're not. You're sad. You're a little stressed, but it looks very, very different. And we want to make sure that we're talking about both of those concerns or both of those issues. So that's why I think it is important to highlight some of these kind of things. And actually, it's interesting because internationally, the focus for this year is looking at the impact of things like environmental disasters and events. Because, I mean, if you look at anybody this summer, I mean, there's so many things going on climate-wise that are contributing to overall well-being or impacting overall well-being. So catastrophes and emergencies, that's the focus. There you go. I was trying to make sure I had the exact writing, and the website that was open on my page rotated. So.
Claudette will tell you, Janine, I have 3 screens going, and if one goes off, poor Claudette, she's got to clean up the mess. But I'm at rapt attention with you. I have to ask you on this World Mental Health Day and Mental Health Awareness Week, because I know you will be following this. I got pulled into it this week. So, and it's a challenge in Newfoundland and Labrador. In Ontario, your college just changed the rules.
I repeat, it's been a long week, Tim.
I got hauled into a discussion. So the public will not be aware, maybe, that in Ontario, the Ontario College of Psychologists, I don't have the right title, you can give it to me in a moment, have decided, because the government has encouraged them to pursue this path, that the qualifications and the requirements to become a recognized psychologist in Ontario are going to change. You will not require the same degree of experience in education, I'm being polite, that you once had. I know a lot of your peers are anxious about this. Offer us a comment, or maybe I'm not helping your mental health and World Mental Health Day with this.
Well, I have to be careful because I'm involved in some national organizations that might have been scrambling like mad in terms of forming responses. What I will say is this is a proposal, and I would love to talk to you about this in more detail at some point, and all kinds of issues related to regulation and training. There is a proposal that is on the table. It has a 60-day time period for feedback and response before things may be enacted. And actually, one of the things that's been really interesting, and I can say this as someone who was born and raised in Ontario, in Ontario there's often a lot of internal reflection and thinking and not looking to the rest of the country to see different models. And actually, especially in Atlantic Canada, we have provided alternate models of training with different emphasis that get competencies and skills to an appropriate level, in different ways. So I said, listen, I have to be optimistic on this, that we're going to figure out some ways to make sure that the high quality training and expertise that people expect from psychologists in this country will be maintained and standardized as we still work to ways to assist with mobility across the provinces. And again, looking at ways to continue to increase access to psychologists. Actually, the PsyD program here at MUN, which was the first English language program in the country, which is a doctorate in clinical psychology. So it's less time than a traditional PhD, but provides a focus on training clinicians, is actually a model that, can very much be applied across the country. And there is movement in that direction. So yay, listen, little Newfoundland and Labrador might be leading the way.
Well, and that would be great, because I will just say this, and people can go on any of the search engines, find out what the debate in Ontario is about. While more can be better, it's important that the more is better before it can be. Follow that riddle. Anyway, Janine, you are awesome. Thank you. You have an excellent Thanksgiving.
And thank you, and that I needed that comment. So there you go. You helped my mental health for this week. So thank you.
Here to serve. All right, you take care, Janine.